All right. That brings us to the end of the updates this morning in terms of news coming from your world, abroad and locally as well. And also following that up is the dailies. I'm having here the Daily Nation, Ruto's sticky mess. That's what the Daily Nation has for me here. And they're saying that for the deputy president, when he trains, it pause. And only days after bagging the Kenya Kwanza presidential ticket, he now must select a running mate from an increasingly thinning stable, and looks like he has to craft deals with other ambitious political parties and shaking off a new court case arguing for his resignation, while all this is doing as he's warding off criticism against integrity credentials. And this is something we're going to be looking at with here, as well as the Standard, our pledge to Kenyans. And it looks like they have a breakdown here of what their presidencies will look like. That is either William Samoei Ruto or Raila Odinga. And they're having here a closer look at Raila and Ruto's speeches when they were cleared to vie for presidency. What does that inform the nation in the coming August general elections? That and much more in the Standard, the Daily Nation. I have the Star, the Business Daily. I also have here with me Paul Wambua, who has been with me before. He'll be joining me to give a breakdown into much more stories that are here. Also the Financial Standard and the Smart Business, which are the pull-out sections of the Daily Nation and the Standard. So don't go too far. Grab yourself a copy of either of this online or physical, and then we'll be back to compare notes and share across social media platforms. We are at KUTV Kenya, so don't go too far. All right, we are back again. This is Biashara Tuesday. Remember on social media, hashtag Biashara Tuesday. On Twitter, at Richard_Kenye. Alafu Paul _Wambua.
Yes, Paul _Wambua 1.
Paul _Wambua 1. Akona mimi hapa. Welcome back, mzee.
Thank you very much.
How's it been?
It's been nice, tough, but we are alive.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The tough get going.
Yes.
Yeah, we need to. So, a lot is happening here. Najua tuwezi pitia kila kitu.
Yes.
And I know since you're a football enthusiast.
Yes.
Tutaangalia pia mambo ya football pale.
We will.
Barcelona wamerudi kama hawajarudi.
Javi ball.
Pale weekend ni ilifanyika. Chelsea masaibu yanawapata. Mambo kama hayo tutaangalia.
Yes.
But first of all, you were telling me, let's start from the Daily Nation.
Yes.
With this special report. Graft drives high death toll on Kenyan roads.
Yes.
Should we blame graft on the number of accidents we're having around, or should we blame the authorities or the drivers?
You realize, I feel like much of the problems we have as a society come from our social establishments, so that you find that corruption, if you look at, yes, of course it has political cost, economic cost and everything, but first it begins with us as individuals, and it expands to other spheres of life, so that you have, for example, this documentary by BBC Africa, and you look at it and you wonder, where are we headed as a society? We have all these fanciful organizations which we suggest that are supposed to help us, but what do? Nothing. NTSA is doing the bare minimum to ensure road safety and anything, because if you watch the documentary, you'll realize that you only need a few thousands, and then you go to around Thika and TSA will approve your car, despite it having very functional and technical and
they're saying that's
issues.
The same case for licenses.
Yes.
They're issuing, driving schools are giving licenses to people without taking classes or sitting tests.
Yes, for them it's the money. I don't need to come to your school for 3 weeks when I can give you, Petans and the other one, Rocky, they are issuing licenses for 15,000 shillings. Only 15,000 shillings. You don't do the exam. The examiner passes you for 3,500.
And this is killing Kenyans.
It is killing Kenyans. It is actually killing us more than COVID has even tried to kill us.
Right.
And it's so sad, because you realize this is public transport safety we are talking about. we need to ensure that by the time I'm getting out of my house in the morning, I have certain guarantees that the possibility of me returning back home is guaranteed in a way. But when you have all this corruption from the police at the checkpoints, and this feeds to something I was reading yesterday from my lecturer, Dr. Gideon Onyango. He published an article on how we've sort of normalized road corruption. And reading whatever he wrote in that journal article and reading this and watching the documentary, I honestly feel depressed for us as Kenyans in terms of road safety. We need to do something serious. And these authorities, you are not meant to stay somewhere along Upper Hill and enjoy all these monies. At what cost? Do you
at the cost of Kenyans, because here 154 is the number of passengers who've died between January 1st and March 20th. That is
this year
2 days ago.
This year alone, not even terrorism has cost us such amount of people. And it compares to 163 that happened that a year ago. And then you want us to believe that we'll never be safe. And then you harass borders because of these things. When in real sense, you should not be reactionary. We need to ensure that now that we have all these as authorities, and they should be functioning and working to our good.
So people should be taking out for this BBC report, BBC investigative report that has gotten quite the attention. It looks like all vehicles are really supposed to pass an annual NTSA safety check to be declared fit to be on the road. However, some systems are so corrupt that you only need a few coins. That's what they're saying. A few coins, a completely written off vehicle can be given a new lease from death to life.
Yeah, I mean,
also you're getting broken vehicles moving all over the highways.
You wonder. And the trick is so simple. Do some cosmetic upgrades and paint the car, and it's approved.
And it becomes a road. It's interesting that there on the business deal which you have there, I think, let's just grab that real quick. NTSA is also proposing or backing up a proposal to allow failing driver students to retest after 7 days. Is 7 days enough for a student who's failed a driving test to come back and redo it?
I mean, it depends with whatever, if they'll do a commercial vehicle or it's just for their private car. But either way, they are going to be using the same roads. Is that enough? If you ask me, no. Why again are they suggesting this proposal? Another avenue for them to swindle us Kenyans of few coins each time, and then because if you realize they are the determinants of who is a failed driver. What is the result of this? You will go to them, and then what do you do? Just like they are doing here. Give them 10,000 shillings and they qualify.
Get your license,
yes,
and become part of the 90% of accidents which are due to human error.
All which could be avoided. And this stems, that doesn't even deal with the drivers alone. NTSA should work in tandem with the likes of Kura, the likes of Kera, to ensure that really our roads are safe. I mean, the documentary has this lady, Madete, who is advocating for proper road designs. I mean, you look at complaints that we've been raising to do with Ngong Road, and you people are unbothered. We have a director general. Do you guys even watch news, or are you even interested in these things?
Unbothered. Unbothered is what you're saying.
Exactly. They are so unbothered. For them, they smile to the bank with all these thousands of shillings and all these per diems and everything, and it's all well.
Interesting that you've mentioned about per diems, money, and people just being concerned about what kind of financial benefit they can get from these projects. Let's stick on the roads and actually finish up with some of those infrastructure projects which we've been speaking about. Thika Road haijakuwa imelipiwa, kumbe tunatembea na highway ya madeni.
Watu wanatucheza. My people, watu wanatucheza.
On page 5 of the Business Daily, they're saying the state is facing fines over a pending 428.6 million in terms of the debt that we still haven't paid for the construction of Thika Road.
And you wonder, is it that it's the continuity of government we lack, or what really happens? Because you understand, we celebrate Mwai Kibaki so much for all his achievements. But now if you have a Jubilee government or a TNA administration, a URP administration that comes in between, and now we come to a point of accruing fines when we are still having these loans which we have not paid for to the tunes of 9 trillions, and you want you want to circumnavigate your way around the debt ceiling.
That's
Seriously,
crazy.
government.
That's crazy.
So disappointing. So disappointing.
That's crazy. They're always disappointing you. That's something I've noticed.
And you wonder, why are we not outraged? Have we become numb to all these theatrics that they are treating us to?
Right.
Kenyans, we need to do something about this, and perhaps
Things might get better.
Yeah, the August elections might be a chance for us to do that.
Elections.
Yes.
The Daily Nation, Ruto's sticky mess is what they're calling it. And they're saying that the deputy president is facing the rain. It is pouring on his camp currently. And as I saw over the past 1 week, a couple of, I think 15 plus delegates of Kirinyaga who are allied to the UDA party switched all of them instantly over to the Jubilee party. And he's facing a lot of criticism and integrity questions that is hanging around him. Remember, there's also a case that is currently ongoing in the ICC, which he is tied to.
Yes.
He's being asked to resign now that he's switched sides and being in power through the Jubilee Party, but also looking for running for president in another coalition. And also, of course, trying to select a running mate, which has been quite a conversation on either camp, that is the DP's camp and also Raila Odinga's camp. Is he in a sticky mess?
I think he's in more trouble that these people perceive for him to be, because you realize, one, to choose a deputy is really something that he should work on very much, knowing that he's been a very troublesome deputy president. And with the presidency as it is, these people are intertwined. So will he go for experience or will he just go for political convenience? It's questions which he has to weigh in on very well. And you look at some people who are being suggested to be running mates. Mr. Ndindi Nyoro,
Ms. Anne Waiguru, Mr. Musalia Mudavadi, and Justin Muturi are the top four that I'm seeing.
Yeah, you wonder. And then you have the likes of Mr. Gachagua. I mean, with all due respect.
Rigathi Gachagua.
Yes. You are even claiming amongst yourselves that these people don't even have the suggested papers for you to even accord them such a vacancy. And you as Ruto, you, as you've rightly pointed out, as all these integrity questions. If you are to
abdicating his post as a deputy president, also one of those things.
And he's not going to resign. This guy has just some streak of I don't even know how to.
So, in your honest opinion, in your personal Wambua opinion,
yes,
should he resign at this point and just concentrate on the...
It is the honorable thing to do. But he doesn't answer to a higher calling like some of us.
Right.
So for him it's convenience, trickery and all this.
All right.
He has to circumnavigate this in one way or the other. And that is what he's basically been doing. And now challenges like this really test his political maturity as it is.
All right.
And now we can only wait and see. But I mean, I have to point out that as the Standard is pointing out their pledges to Kenyans, you get the impression that with all these their promises, I mean, yesterday he was saying that his opponents believe that it is constitutional moment for him, it is economic moment. I mean, it's all well and good, but how are you fashioning this? How does this feed into our economic suprastructures and our...
He's saying the bottom up.
The bottom up, seriously. We are very neoliberal, and you want to... That would even be a shocker to the economy as it is. So will it work? We would wait and see what he'll do. But now... Clearly, it won't work because he is a man obsessed with numbers. In every rally, you will hear him say that we will do this with 100 billion. We will do this with 100 billion. And if you sit down, and I would like our media organizations to fact check this guy.
Right.
The money is mentioned. They supersede even our budget as it is, and we are not even yet into the peak of the campaign season. So what happens to us?
At the bottom of the Daily Nation as well, still, outliers who have refused to ride the popularity wave. A story that is continued on page 12 and 13. They're mentioning a couple of leaders or seasoned politicians who are not bowing to either the UDA side, which is the Kenya Kwanza, or the Azimio side. They are defiant in the face of popular parties, and they dare to battle on. Some of those who are mentioned here include Amos Kimunya and Professor Sam Ungeri. I really doubt that one. This is a story by Konyango, K. Onyango.
Yes.
This is the Daily Nation. They are also mentioning here a couple of others who are people of interest. Kiraitu Murungi, James Nyoro. However, I know some of them are allied to either side.
I mean, technically, yes, you could attribute that to that, but then again, you realize with all these campaign issues, we have a lot of misinformation going about, and we are labeling people by the mere fact that we don't think they are allied to us. But again, for me, there is a more substantive issue that we have to look at, and this is just the functioning of our political parties, because you look at these people, some of them have just decided, the likes of Kimunya, Wambugu and Kioni, they have decided we use Jubilee as a party to get into power. It is only politically right and correct to stand by our parties despite all that is happening. So you look at it from that point, and then you can understand what is happening. But again, populist political parties are taking root all over the place.
Right.
And you could want to term them as some beacons of democracy, as it is right now here in Kenya. But again, we understand our political system. We know how these things work.
Right.
We know what is happening right now.
People are trying to hide their cards as well.
Yes. You may be trying to do that, trying to be politically clever, but vitu kwa ground.
Train inaweza kukupita pia.
Yes.
They are also doing an analysis. Remember, there will be a conversation on political parties and the issue of politics coming up, following up to the elections this year, August 8th. So remember to tune in Thursday morning here on KUTV Rise Today. That conversation on political parties itaendelezwa pale asubuhi na mzee Ojong Mariam kwa makala ya TBT. So ensure you're tuning in for that conversation. Here on the Standard's page 5, wanna break down into Ruto and Raila's campaign pledges. And this is where I want us to wrap up a bit on those political stories, the important political stories we have here this morning.
Yes.
And I know we've just spoken about Ruto's side, yes, and some of those pledges that he's giving out. On Raila's side, he's saying that he will have Uhuru as his advisor, among other many things, including fighting decisively against corruption, raising financial allocation to counties from the current 15% to at least 35% of the national budget.
Yes.
I can't quite remember what the BBI was proposing.
It's still the same thing.
It's still the same thing?
His pledges, some of them really have borrowed from his BBI suggestions, which in and of themselves, we can only wait and judge.
Universal healthcare, as he called it. Babacare.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, what Raila is doing is positioning or priming his candidature along the works of social democracy. He's a social democrat, and
of course has always made sure that is clear to everyone.
Yes, and I feel like we need to understand these things more than basing our understanding of them according to the information that is provided by other people. Because if we do not I mean, we people who have a platform, we people who are in the media and everything, if we do not get our people to understand what really these pledges mean, or how these people endeavor to achieve them by way of when they'll either sign or give to us their manifestos, until then, we have to substantively question and interrogate these people. I mean, I'm disappointed by these people when they show up to certain radio and TV stations
and repeat the same rhetorics.
Yeah,
and the media echoes it.
Don't just ask anything. It's like they are there to just amplify these voices without even like critiquing what these people are saying.
Subjectively so.
Yeah.
Right.
You people, you need to be as objective as possible, and that is the only way that you will uncover what these people are trying to say and what these things mean to us as a country. And the media now will have played its role in safeguarding democracy as it is in Kenya.
Right. So
yes,
not only just saying Kenyans do not understand what the politicians are saying,
yes, make us understand,
but also make sure that Kenyans understand, not just amplifying the rhetorics that they keep peddling from one media house to the other.
Yes, please.
So that's a very good call from Wambua there to us who are in the media fraternity. So that story, you can look at it on page 5. Hapo Malio me break down mambo ya Ruto na Raila.
Yes.
Anything else there you're saying on the Daily Nation?
Yeah, I'm actually disturbed by this. It's so sad that it is happening because there is a story by Eric Matara that a South Sudanese man died in an arson attack by border borders, and this happened in Nakuru. And for me, we are slowly and surely...
This is totally unacceptable.
Yeah, actually we should condemn it in the strongest term possible, because not only does it become diplomatic issues, because you saw yesterday that Matiang'i was forced to brief. He had a diplomatic briefing, and then at the backdrop of it, you have a South Sudanese official who goes to visit Mawaga Estate, where we have this. And
this comes barely a week
after the Forest Road
incident.
It's xenophobia left, right, and center.
And this is happening to foreign nationals.
Yes, and you may look at it as far-fetched, but the other day there was a very reckless statement by the deputy president, and it had something that was targeted at DRC. And
that brought us into a diplomatic row for quite some time.
Yes, and now Matiang'i, the Forest Road issue, he was forced, his own admission, he was forced to explain that thing more than is done on any other policy issue. And then we have people who are taking things to their own hands. Guys, xenophobia is not going to help us. It is not the way to
completely unacceptable.
Yeah, we cannot be this nationalistic. We need to embrace other people and other nations and be Pan-Africans at least, and Ubuntu. Guys, we need to wake up from this, and
right.
Yeah, it should not be used for political expedience. You cannot gain political capital by such things. Clearly, they are bad for your international image standing, and they are even bad to you as a person, because how do you sleep at night knowing that you are fathering things like this? So we need to wake up on that.
All right. So yes. While still on matters of insecurity, it looks like rogue police officers are the ones who are leasing guns to bandits who have been terrorizing certain parts of the country. And this is according to a state security agency, which is here reporting on the Daily Nation on page 9. So rogue police officers are leasing weapons to bandits who are terrorizing residents in parts of the country. I do not know why. I am not shocked. However, I did not expect it.
Yeah. I mean, we take you to Kiganjo to do something substantive to you and to ensure that our security is guaranteed. But now when state agents are turning to be rogue, it becomes really a problem. And then you may want to tie this to upcoming elections and how, insecurity is used to play political football. You will have MPs running left, right, and center, shouting that, I saw some reporting that send military to Kerio Valley, Rift MPs demand.
That's
and at the same time, it is the same place you have the nation reporting that police are leasing guns. These are instruments that you will, at some point, you will have the population against the state. Then what happens? You have people like Sabaot land forces, and what happens on a whole? Insecurity, you displace people, and you destabilize the economy of the region, and what happens? People are dying because, again, you saw that there's drought all over the place.
And Matiang'i is saying 2.5 million Kenyans are going to be affected.
Yeah, and it is going to move to 3.6 billion people. And at what expense? Taxpayers, and perhaps another scheme to corrupt people, because you realize Matiang'i is saying that money is going to be needed. And there are all these cash transfers, and we all know the script, how it ends up. People have been so greedy, materialistic, and you still, even from those of us who need it the most.
Right.
I mean, I'm dying in Turkana. What business do you have getting even a shilling from the coffers that is supposed to help me benefit?
Right.
And it's just the distance decay we have with some bits of our country.
So that's what is happening on matters of security. They're also saying that the exercise, which is supposed to begin on the March 24th, that is the recruitment exercise, is going to be free and fair election. I don't know what kind of experience you've had, or closest experience you've had with the police recruitment exercise in the country.
It is bad. And I tell you this from a point of knowledge, because one of my very close friends, they have been trying ever to get into this thing. And
they don't have enough teeth?
Yeah. Some weird reasons. Kenya, we need to move from that. And then the corruption that is marred by that thing. It is tons of it, and some of us have turned it into a career and a profession that all you aspire to be is in the military. There is no problem with that. Of course, we have to defend our borders from external aggression, from internal risks, but the manner in which we conduct it has to be in quote unquote an objective way, so that at the end of it all we can achieve our security concerns legitimately.
Isn't it hilarious that for you to, in other countries,
yes,
for you to serve in the military, to serve in the police, you volunteer, you say, I love this nation so much,
yes,
I want to go and fight for it. But isn't it funny that in Kenya reports show that you have to bribe your way to serve the nation? Imagine. You have to bribe your way to put yourself in the line of danger, in the line of duty. It
is how much we celebrate corruption, and when it infiltrates
celebrate,
the security,
you say.
Yes. If we infiltrate the security apparatus of this country and we do this, we don't stand a chance, because someone will be motivated. I mean, you told me to give my personal experience.
Right.
I've had people who have joined this thing for the simple fascination that I'll go to Somalia and I'll make money. I will make money from Amazon, I'll make money from all these things. And I'll be a rich guy and I'll come maybe parade a few girls here and there and enjoy life. But seriously, we have more.
It is funny, but it's not funny in that sense. It's funny that we are in that situation.
Funny, yes.
Right?
It is to be funny at some point.
Right.
Yeah, our security apparatus, Mr. Matiang'i, you've done some commendable things, but it's okay. That is part of what you should have done. Now you need to go the extra mile.
Extra mile to ensure that it's completely free.
Yes.
Before we go to sports,
yes,
which I think is what we will wrap up with,
yes,
there was some good news. Na feeling kama tumecomplain sana.
Sindio?
Yeah. M-Pesa wamekujiwa. That's something that I'm happy about. The Treasury is working on a proposal to cut M-Pesa transaction charges. Maybe wewe hazikuaffect as much. Unajua wewe ni mkuu.
No. Bado
wewe transaction cost.
Sijafika point ya kuwa aristocrat.
If you calculate the percentages at which they charge, that is 27 bob for like 100 bob, 110 bob, and you pay 27. That's so much money. So the Treasury is giving here the sending and withdrawal charges, which are going to be reviewed, and this is likely to affect Safaricom, because M-Pesa is its biggest earner as of this moment, and it accounts for 99% of the mobile transactions in the country. What do you feel about this? Is it good news?
It is very good news, and we should be smiling. For the first time, the Treasury is worrying about us Kenyans.
Worrying about Kenyans.
Yeah,
I was reading this story and I was looking for a loophole. I was like, where exactly is the catch? Yeah, where are we going to lose money from?
It's simple. Safaricom, you are a predatory capitalist organization in this country, and you've ripped us off. Your transactions.
But someone will argue that Safaricom is contributing greatly to the economy, because they are also our biggest taxpayer.
Yeah, they are, but at what cost? And you see, I mean, yes, we celebrate capitalism every day. There's nothing wrong about it. But now when it turns to be predatory, because give me the justification for withdrawing 50 shillings with 10 shillings and 100 bob with 10 shillings.
Right. There's no justification there.
I don't feel like there's enough justification besides the fact that you must profiteer from my economic misfortune. Safaricom has turned up with some very predatory products like M-Gas, M-Copper and all those things.
Fuliza.
Yes, they want to make sure that in every 100 shillings that you have, 40 shillings is theirs, whether you want it or not. Is it good for, the economy and free market oriented capitalists? Of course it is good, but what is it doing to us as a people? What is it doing?
Right, it's adverse effects.
Yeah.
Right. So even as that happens, if that is going to come through, the CBK, as of last month, was also proposing or is currently pursuing a central bank digital currency, which is going to facilitate small value transactions directly through the bank. So Kenyans, if this comes through, this virtual shilling, it's going to help reduce those transaction costs, cut middlemen. Kama kuweka pesa kwa bank, kwa M-Pesa, una bank directly through the CBK at very low costs.
Yeah, so Njoroge, finally you are thinking about us. Maybe we should comment to you about it.
Right, so those are two pieces of good news. Treasury and the CBK is pursuing that, and it looks like that might be happening anytime in the future. As you had mentioned, predatory capitalism.
Yeah.
Betting firms are in the rise in Kenya. And saizi, naona hapa numbers ni 100 betting firms. Gambling is quite a thing now, right?
It has become a thing, and we shouldn't even be shocked. I mean, every single media, radio station these days, it is, Tajirika, Pigwa Jeki, all those things. And there was even someone on Twitter was complaining the other day, at least they had sent, allegedly they are from Royal Media Services, and they were saying that if you don't meet these targets by your show or anything, you are under pressure. And it shows how obscene we've become, really, because if we can celebrate gambling each morning in particularly even the vernacular radio stations, it is a problem.
Betting is now the second largest business line by revenue under M-Pesa's payments, and betting units after consumer to business, which generated sales of 5.1 billion in the 6 months to September. Court papers are showing here that Pevans, which is of course Sport Pesa,
yes,
it made 149.7 billion in 2018, making it the second largest company in Kenya by revenue after Safaricom.
Yeah, and you realize there is always a linkage between Safaricom and everyone trying to exploit Kenyans. There's always a linkage. You look at sports, and then I'm actually scared that Kenya may turn into an oligarchy very soon, because the Sport Pesa guy now wants to be an MP. You can be sure he's going to be a very good lobbyist for everything gambling and everything in the parliament. What does that mean? It means that we Kenyans will continue to be siphoned off even the list of coins that we have. And ultimately, what will that do? We will have issues affecting everything, including sports. I mean, you look at Abramovich and Chelsea and Ukraine and all these invasions and everything.
Of course, everything is tied up.
Yeah, and then you have Wanjigi now supporting Ruto and you're liberalist. Seriously, we have a problem, and it's devastating to say the least.
Sports Wambua, sports Barcelona wamerudi, El Clasico walimaliza, so looks like Messi was really not the problem.
Yeah, Messi has not been the problem. It is just that we needed a new project as the only football club in the world. Football Club Barcelona. And now we are back.
Football at the club.
Yeah. We are back at playing some quite tantalizing football. You remember there's this meme that is paraded around these days that when it's majorly shared by my friend called Kitune, and he says that the meme follows a thing of kocha wetu kasema tucheza kichampioni, ukija unapigwa tu. That is what is happening to teams.
Sasa ni kupigwa tu sasa na Barcelona.
Ni kupigwa tu. You can imagine these boys, very young men, Javi, I mean Gabi, kina Ricky Push, Pedri, 19, 20. And now you add the experience of the likes of Sergio Busquets, Gerard Pique, and up front you have Aubameyang. These guys are playing some magic, as the Standard is reporting. All right. Yes.
The Daily Nation. I'm seeing here a lot of athletics happening. Kenya in the final medal standings here at quite an abysmal number this time.
Yeah.
What has happened to us?
Indoor championships. And
right. We don't have indoor championship champions?
Not as much.
Not as much.
Yeah, not as much.
All right. But still, very commendable that we are able to get silver and bronze. So we're always getting a medal here and there. So shout out to all athletes who are putting our flag up out there.
They do it so well.
Masaibu ya Chelsea as tukifunga unaonaje?
You see, it's always hard to understand business as it is, corporate, and how it fits to everything we do these days. And you can only not really feel sympathy for Chelsea. It's just
why is Chelsea suffering the sins or the purported sins of Abramovich?
Because you realize Abramovich, in one way or the other, has profiteered of the misfortune of one, Russians, and two, everyone that Russia is against. If you look at the Baltic states, if you look at Ukraine itself, and even Russia, you understand how these problems are coming to affect this guy Abramovich. And the fact that he doesn't seem to have like a stand. I mean, he's an oligarch. We can forgive him for that. But you need to come up, you need to understand humanity has to prevail at some point. We can't have you supporting someone who is bombarding everything.
Why can't the UK leave Chelsea to just do its business and sanction everything and that is regards to Abramovich, except Chelsea?
Money.
Just leave the players do their thing.
Money is involved. Chelsea the other day went to to honor a match with a vehicle that was laughed off by the fans. They need money. Sky Sports the other day was saying that Chelsea needs roughly €1 million to stage one match. So if you don't have this money, and the only person who can provide this money is someone we've sanctioned as a government, and we strongly don't feel we want to excommunicate him from our country, you can understand where the government is coming from.
Okay.
But then again, you can also understand the double standards that are involved with the world order.
Right.
You can only feel for Chelsea that this is coming to them.
And it's not like the UK government is devoid of sin, but those are just my thoughts. Do not crucify me.
Yes.
Let's read the quote at the end of the Business Daily, and then we can wrap up this segment.
Toni Morrison, she said this: "What's the world for you if you can't make it up the way you want it? What's the world for you if you can't make it up the way you want it?"
All right. What is the world for you if you can't make it the way you want it?
Yeah, Toni Morrison.
Toni Morrison is an author.
Another black American.
Yeah, quite some good books.
Yeah.
Any that you've read by her?
I know why Caged Birds Sing.
Is it her, or is that Maya
Angelou?
Right.
That's
Maya Angelou. What's your current read?
Broken Glass. I'm actually reading it. Yeah. You'd want to read a book set in a bar called Credit Gone West, and where EU does not drink, he's an idiot, and the likes. It's very interesting.
Very interesting book.
Yeah.
Make sure that they check it out.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the end of this segment, the newspaper review here on Biashara Tuesday. Give me your feedback across social media platforms. We are at KUTV Kenya, at Richard_Kenye, and naangalia hapa kuna feedback ambayo imefika already. Waweru Kennedy, great morning, a great show for my morning, asante. Waithera Duo, morning Richard, I'm always up early to never miss this one. It's an amazing show. I am super excited to even know more on business. Thank you very much for tuning in. George Mapesa, uko kwa show ya Mapesa, na unasema good morning KUTV Kenya. I'm following the show from Bungoma Kimilili. Huku tunawakilisha kuwakilisha. Asante sana Bwana George Mapesa for that comment. At this point, I'm going to be now taking a short break. So, usiende so far because I am coming back right about now to have a conversation on the Mimhesh app. I know we've just had a discussion so much that also part of it was politics, and looking at where you can get all the political information that you need this year on parties, elections, and all the politicians who are relevant to you, from the MCA to the president. Make sure you're tuning in for that. Founder and director of Mimhesh 2022, Hannah Kanuna, will be joining me here on set. Tweet me up na unisukumie hizo maswali, nitamwambia atazijibu, alafu tutakuwa sawa, si ndio? Biashara Tuesday bado iko on air.